April can be one of the most confusing months in the garden, and if you plant the wrong things right now, you can waste weeks of effort. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through what I'm focusing on planting in April, and I'll show you how I think about this month so you can decide what actually makes sense for your garden. And just to keep this simple, you don't need to plant everything in this video. If you just pick 2 or 3 things that fit your space, you'll be in great shape. I've broken this into 3 simple sections, and at the end there's a bonus section where I'll show you what I rely on in my own garden when the weather is all over the place, so you're not starting from scratch every season. If your soil is workable right now, these are the ones I would prioritize first. Everything in this section needs cooler weather to really do well, so this is your window before the heat starts. If you only plant a few things this month, start with something from this section. The first one is potatoes. This is a crop I've had the most success with when I planted in that late March to early April window here in upstate South Carolina. Once we start getting into heat and humidity, they become much more prone to disease, and the harvest just isn't the same. Potatoes are one of those staple crops that actually go a long way in meals, and even a small harvest can make a big difference in your kitchen. So if you haven't planted potatoes yet, this is one I would not wait on. Next is lettuce. This is one of those crops I grow every year because it actually shows up in our meals all the time. It's one of the easiest ways to step outside and harvest something fresh, and it adds up quickly in terms of value. But it does not like the heat. Once temperatures start climbing, it bolts fast and it turns bitter, and I've had that happen really quickly once we get into those consistently warm weeks. So April is really your last good chance to get a round established for spring lettuce while it's still easier to grow. What's helped me stretch my harvest a little bit is planting it where it gets some afternoon shade, or just harvesting it younger instead of waiting for full heads. And if you want to push it further into the warmer season, you can look for slow bolt varieties. One I grow and love here is Freckles, and that one will hold on longer into the heat. Spinach is very similar to lettuce in terms of liking cooler weather, but even more sensitive. From my experience, this one can go from doing great to bolting almost overnight once temperatures start warming up. So in April, this is more of a you might want to get a quick harvest if the weather cooperates crop, but not something I would rely on this time of year. I planted mine in February, but this is one that I personally focus more on in the fall when conditions are more stable in my microclimate here. This next one depends a lot on your climate, but in general, April is kind of the tail end of the window in warmer areas and right on time in cooler ones. Your snap peas and your snow peas need that cooler weather to grow and produce well, and once temperatures start pushing into the heat, they will stop producing quickly. So if you're in a cooler climate and your ground is just becoming workable, this is a great time to plant them. But if you're in a warmer zone like I am, this is more of a last chance if you want to try it crop, and it's not something I would rely on this time of year. I've planted them in the end of March before, and although I did get an okay harvest, I could have had a longer harvest window if I would have planted them earlier. And then radishes. Radishes are one of the fastest growing crops you can plant, so they're a really easy way to get a quick harvest. Besides baby leaf lettuce, it's one of the fastest ways to go from planting something to actually putting it on your plate. In cooler climates, April is actually a great time to grow them, but in warmer zones, this is where timing starts to get tricky because once temperatures warm up, they can bolt quickly and the quality just isn't the same. So for me, I got mine planted a few weeks ago, and after that, this is one that I usually focus more on again towards the fall. But if you're in a cooler area or you want a quick crop before the heat sets in, this is still a really good option to plant right now. And then beets. Beets are another crop that technically still works in early April, but timing really matters. They need enough time to size up before the heat sets in. If you plant an early maturing variety like Early Wonder, you can enjoy the greens and baby beets earlier, but it takes about 60 days to get full-sized beets. I actually prefer planting mine in late summer for a fall and winter harvest because they get sweeter in cooler weather and they store really well for months in the fridge. But if you want a spring crop, this is really your last opportunity to get them in the ground and give them enough time to mature. So those 6 vegetables are the ones I would prioritize first in April. If you want a shortcut, I put together a free guide with 25 crops that actually show up in meals, so you're not wasting space growing things you won't use. You can grab that below. Now let's move into the next April ones that give you a little bit more flexibility. And these next ones are still worth planting right now. You've got a little more flexibility with these, and they tend to be reliable, high-value crops that can really pay off in a small space. If you feel like you're a little behind this season, this is a great place to focus. First are strawberries. This is one of those crops that I think is absolutely worth planting if you have the space. My kids and I eat so many strawberries, both fresh and frozen, and they're one of those things that can be expensive at the store or full of chemicals at the store or not always available when you want them. So growing them at home really adds up in value over time. One thing I like to do is grow varieties that send out runners, because those runners turn into free plants that you can use to refresh your patch over time. Strawberries tend to slow down after a couple of years, so being able to replant those runners keeps your harvest going without having to buy new plants every season. And April is still a good time to get these planted if you haven't already, especially while the weather is still mild enough for them to get established before summer heat sets in. Next are blueberries. This is one that's more of a long-term investment, but one that can really pay off. Once they're established, they can produce for years, like decades, and there's just no comparison to the flavor of homegrown blueberries. I actually just planted some rabbit eye varieties in the ground here because they're native here and they're well suited to my area, and they do really well in the native soil. But you don't have to grow blueberry bushes in the ground. There are also more compact varieties that do great in containers, like this raised bed here. Early spring is a great time to plant blueberry bushes while they're still dormant or just starting to wake up so that they can get established before the heat sets in. Next are onions, but more specifically evergreen bunching onions. This is one of those crops that earns its space really quickly. I like to grow evergreen bunching onions instead of focusing on the big bulb onions anymore, because you can harvest from them over and over again and they will keep coming back every spring. You don't have to wait for a full crop to mature because you can cut them as scallions, and they're just a lot more flexible in a small space. I've also found that homegrown green onions last so much longer than store-bought ones. The ones from the store tend to go slimy pretty quickly, but the ones from the garden hold up really well in the fridge for me. April is still a great time to get these established if you haven't already, especially while the weather is still mild. And once they're established, they do well in both heat and cold. And then parsley and cilantro. These are both really easy herbs to grow, and they're another high value crop because herbs are so expensive at the store. And when you grow them, the more you harvest, the better the plants do. Cilantro is one that I grow every year, and it actually self-seeds for me, which means it just comes back on its own when conditions are right. But like a lot of these cool season crops, it's going to bolt when weather warms up, so this is a good time to get it established while temperatures are still mild. Parsley is a little more forgiving and can handle a wider range of conditions, so it's a great one to include if you're just getting started with herbs. With this next group of plants, this is where you can really use April to set you up for summer. These aren't going outside yet, but what you do now makes a big difference in how your warm season crops perform. Now this is also where timing gets really important. For crops like corn, melons, squash, and cucumbers, I'm usually aiming for direct sowing late April into early May here in upstate South Carolina, zone 8A. Corn can often go in a little earlier, like late March into April, but melons really prefer that warmer soil later in spring. Cucumbers can go in late March through April or even early May, depending on your conditions. The main thing I'm watching isn't just the calendar though, it's soil temperature, because if the soil is still cool and wet, the seeds can actually rot before they ever get going. So for me, warmer soil is the signal that it is go time. Tomatoes. This is one of the main crops I plan my garden around because tomatoes show up in so many meals for us. Between fresh eating, sauces, and freezing extras, this is one that really adds value over the season. And if you haven't started your seeds indoors yet, April is actually not too late for tomatoes in many cases. They grow quickly, and from my experience, starting them a little bit later can actually work in your favor because you end up with plants that are easier to manage and transition outside. I usually start mine around 6 weeks before my last frost date, and even a little bit later than that instead of earlier, because they grow fast and can get too big indoors if you start them too soon. I started mine a few weeks ago, but if you're starting in April, you're not missing your chance. The biggest thing here is not rushing them outside too early. Even if you're past your last frost date, if your nights are still cool, they can still struggle. I've had issues with diseases after cool rainy stretches in early spring, even if my last frost date had passed, so waiting a little bit can help avoid that. I also like to wait until my nighttime temperatures are consistently above 50 before planting them out, which for me is closer to around May 1st. Peppers are similar to tomatoes in that they do not like cold temperatures, but they're a little bit slower to get started than tomatoes. They take longer to germinate and grow, so April is a bit on the later side for starting them indoors, but you can still get a great harvest, especially if you choose quicker maturing varieties. If you want to start from seed, go ahead and do it now, but you can also pick up a few plants from a local nursery as a backup so that you're not relying entirely on a late start. And then the warm weather herbs like basil. This is a plant that can add a lot of value to your garden because it produces so much as long as you keep harvesting, and it's so expensive to buy at the store. There are lots of fun varieties to choose from when you're growing it at home. Like, I love lemon basil. Basil does not like cold weather at all though, so April is a good time to either start the seeds indoors or plan to pick up a transplant once your weather has fully warmed up. If you feel like you're a little bit behind with any of the warm weather herbs, this is where buying a few transplants can really help, and you can start harvesting pretty much right away. This next group of plants has made the biggest difference for me, especially in seasons like this one. If this time of year ever feels like it's all over the place, this is what I like to lean on. This spring alone, we've had days in the 90s and then nights down in the 20s. And when the weather swings like that, it can make it really hard for some of your seasonal crops to stay consistent. So instead of relying on perfect timing for everything, I like to have a few things in my garden that don't depend on that. These are crops that you plant once and they come back on their own year after year, naturally, when the conditions are right. Planting perennial herbs is an excellent way to start a garden, whether you're a beginner or not. Since they do keep coming back, they will save you time and money. These are all really easy to find as small plants at your local nursery, and once they're established, they're so low maintenance besides the harvesting part. Choosing herbs based on your culinary preferences and local environment, you could start with 4 or 5 hardy varieties to build your confidence. Examples that I like to grow are chives, thyme, oregano, rosemary, and lemon balm. But there are lots of perennial herbs to choose from for lots of different uses, so you can always have something growing that you can use in your kitchen. So this isn't about planting everything in April. It's more about knowing what actually still has time to grow, what's worth planting right now, and what you can wait on. And again, don't feel like you need to do all of this. Even just a few of these done well can make a big difference. And once you start thinking about your garden this way, it gets a lot easier to know what to focus on each month instead of trying to do everything at once. If you want help choosing what's actually worth growing, I put together a free guide with 25 high-value crops that I grow every year that actually show up in meals. You can grab that below. For more small space, high-value gardening, you can tap or click the video on your screen next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you over there.